Hey everyone, this is Jennifer with Planting Science, and we're approaching mid session, which is the busiest time of the session. And it seems like a great time to just review what liaisons' lives look like while students are actually posting on the platform. So, if you came here kind of looking for the early session things that liaisons do, like recruiting mentors, helping with project teams, creating assigning mentors to teams, that sort of thing, all of that is covered in earlier videos that we did. So, you want to go back to the tutorial playlist and look for those instead. At this point, we're assuming that the group is set up, the project teams have been created, students are in place, mentors have been recruited, everybody's been assigned to their teams, and now students are starting to log in. So, what is the liaison supposed to be doing during this time? Arguably, this is the busy time because remember that the liaison's role's job is to moderate all of those conversations that are going on. And depending on the size of your group, it can be kind of overwhelming, especially if you don't have time to log in and like literally read every feed every single day. Now, if you can stay on top of it, it actually isn't is even if you had to do that, that's not too bad. But we do provide you with some tools to make it as efficient as possible. So hopefully day to day during the week, it's like a 5-minute check-in at the most. I would recommend you consider allotting maybe a half an hour every couple of days just so that you can go through and browse the projects and be looking for highlights and signs of great things happening. But most of the time, it should be a quick process. So I'm going to start here with the dashboard, and you'll notice I'm logged in as my Amazing Liaison account here. Um, Hopefully, this is clear already, but you don't have a separate account for your liaison duty that you do for your mentoring. I only have this account just so that it's clear what role we're talking about right now. But when I'm a liaison, I'm using the same account that I use when I mentor, which is the same account that I use as a member of the staff. So it's you won't need anything special or anything different to do this. But on your dashboard, when you are a liaison in a group, there are some differences down here to note. One of them is that while you're welcome to mentor teams within your own group, the group that you're a liaison for. You're also welcome to be a mentor in other groups at the same time. The group that you are have the liaison role in will always appear with the manager tag underneath it. If you're only a mentor in the group, if you're not a liaison, then it will say member there and it will be green. So you're looking for this group when it comes to just to your liaison responsibilities. This is the one you want, the one that says manager. The other thing you'll notice is that all projects in that group will show up on your project list because you are a member of all of them. Now, that said, you're not interacting with them, with the students, on a daily basis the way the mentors should be. Instead, you're kind of like a grandparent, a grand mentor, if you will, because your job is to kind of be supportive and to sort of swing in when the mentor has to step away and all of that. So your job is really to be a kind of at an upper level, looking down, and to help you with that, they have these wonderful activity flags that show up when there's been some messages that you haven't seen yet. So at a glance, if you come down here and just look through the groups that are in your liaison group, you can see right away that there's been some activity that you haven't seen yet. So it's a good time to pop on over there and see what's going on. And again, I do recommend popping in and just doing a quick check every single weekday if you possibly can. It should not take very long. Hopefully, if you're on top of things, it'll just be even a minute and you'll be done. Like I said, there are some really cool tools here that can help you with that. One of them is this. This is the project status report, which it will show up in the menu for mentors, but you can't see it. But as a liaison, you can. Now, it's not the prettiest report, admittedly, but it is very informative. If you take a look at this, notice that we have all of our projects listed here. And you can see at a glance who their mentor is. You can also see who their liaison is. And you can also see the mentor's emails, so you can use this to reach out to them if you want to. There is an easier way, though, and I'll show you that in a second. The other thing to notice is the colors. Now, under the best circumstances, when everything's great and everybody's communicating like they should, all of these will just be a very boring black color, just normal. But when it's been several days and people haven't posted, all of a sudden the colors start changing. So this is a demo account, so none of the students that are in these projects are real people. That's why all of them are red. What that suggests is that nobody has been posting over the last week, and we don't necessarily know why. Now, sometimes you will, however, know why. So if this is a spring session and say spring break has happened, the whole week will go by. Of course, nobody's posting because school is out. So if you know that there's a vacation, the fact that something has turned red doesn't necessarily mean it's a crisis. But if you don't have an explanation for why a given group has turned red, it does bring your attention to that so that you can make note of that and reach out to the teacher and find out what's going on with the students, and also reach out to the mentor to find out what's going on with the mentor. Um, Another thing to bear in mind is that this purple one here suggests that the mentor has been posting, but the students for some reason are not. In this case, this is one to bring to the teacher's attention, because what that means is that the mentor is doing their best, but the students are being pokey about responding. And especially if all of the rest of the class seems to be posting regularly, but this one group is not, the teacher may just not know. They may not realize. So that's a good thing to bring to their attention so that they know. And then obviously this last color, which isn't represented in this example, but that's this yellow color is the one you really want to watch out for, because that means that the students are posting, but the mentor is not getting back to them. So in that case, that's where you really want to reach out to the mentor and let them know that their kids are waiting and try to get them back onto the platform so that they can reply. Now, before I show you how the way I'd recommend that you do that, at least first, I want to show you what else is in this report, because this is also helpful. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, because here's our sideways scroll bar. And if now these links will take you directly to the project, so that's handy if you want to go take a look. But you can also scroll over here and notice that it tells you how many messages the mentor has posted and when their last message was posted, as well as the same for students. Here's how many messages students have posted and when the last student posted. So that can kind of give you a little bit of a temperature read on how things are going as well. And then if you come this way, you'll see we have this explore question. These are the info fields at the top of their project page. And so when they've entered that, it will just say true. If they have not entered anything, it will just say false. So you can also look here to kind of get an idea of who's moving through the project fields and who is not. Sometimes they're not moving through because they just aren't filling them out, and their teacher, for whatever reason, hasn't gotten after them about that. If it's just one group and the rest of them are all dutifully filling it out, I would notify the teacher that that's the case. If all of them are kind of pokey about it, then I would reach out to the teacher just to clarify if there's a reason why those aren't being filled out. It's not an absolute requirement, but we will not award a STAR project award, unless those are complete, because those are exemplars. So if the teacher just doesn't care if any of their students get STAR projects, I guess they can leave blank. But teacher may just need to be nudged to remind students to take care of that. Now, again, if you have any yellow folks here and they're not posting, you want to come down here to the second report, which is the member status report. This breaks this activity out person by person. Now, unfortunately, it makes it kind of a clumsy report to use, because it also includes the most recent message that somebody posted. And so some of these rows can get really wide. So like this one here, see how big that is? Some of them are really long. So what I find useful about this is to come up here and write mentor, first of all. And it does have to be all lowercase. Then you can scroll through your mentors and find the ones that are slacking. So they will be in red. That will mean that they have not done what they're supposed to be doing. And you can then scroll across. And you may see them appear twice if they're assigned to two groups. But what you can do then, let me come down here to the bottom and scroll across. So say this is the one, like this Jennifer Hartley, man, she is being such a slacker. Okay. So we're going to go notify her, just give her a nudge, because we know that our scientists are busy. They're not really slacking. They just probably are caught up in something. So we're going to click a message. And what's great is that this will come with this already pretty tactful little message that just says, hey, we're waiting on you. Would you mind coming on and posting for your students? So you can just click that and click send right away. Now, if you want to customize it, you can. Just bear in mind that the email address that this is going to come from will be a no reply address. So if you put a message in there with like a question, they're not going to be able to respond to that, or they may try and it's going to go nowhere. So just keep this just as simple as possible and hit send. The other thing you can do, of course, and you can do that either here or in the project status report, is that the email addresses are listed here with the person. So you can copy and paste email addresses in. Obviously not for students, but for the mentors, you can find all of their email addresses here as well, and you can send them an email that way. So you can just copy and paste that into your email client. So that is one way you can do it. The other way, of course, is here. It's also here. So Jesse was slacking. We need to send him an email. That's how that works. So that would be the first thing I would do. So every day when I come check on my projects, I would click on the project status report, just do a check, make sure they're all boring and black and there's no funny colors. If there are any funny colors, deal with those. The second thing I would do is come here to the projects tab and come to update feeds. Okay, so this little red activity tag here tells me that there's things that have happened that I haven't necessarily seen yet. So I am going to come over here and I'm going to scroll down through these and just scan. This updates feed brings in messages from all the different projects in the order they were posted. And so they're not in a narrative order at all. So this isn't the place to read and catch up. It's just kind of a place to scan. And what you're looking for is potential issues. Like, for example, our friend Allison here, he's having a bad day, clearly. And he has posted, I hate this class and this is stupid. Now, that's not a great message. That's a pretty rude message, actually. So you're thinking to yourself about what you should do next about this. One of the things I would do, first of all, is notify the teacher. And then let the teacher deal with it. One thing that the liaison's role is not to do, and that's to scold people. Your job is not to go after the students for being rude or for not doing their stuff. Gentle reminders, cheerful reminders are fine, but anything that comes off as punitive is only going to hurt the students' relationship with their mentors. So you're not there to scold. You don't have to do anything about that. Now, if this message, if he posts something like this, but it's obviously very hurtful to somebody, whether that's the mentor or another student in the class or even the teacher, if the student has posted something that is definitely geared to bullying somebody or causing some kind of pain, you can click on this trash can to delete it. Doing that will not remove the evidence of the message. Every time students post, those messages get sent out to the planting science team, to you as the liaison, which you've probably noticed, and to the teacher. And it can be a lot of emails. So, of course, we're not all reading it closely. We're not going to necessarily catch it in our email, but we may catch it here on the platform in this updates feed. So, if you see this and it's concern, what I would do is I would just notify the teacher, hey, in project 2, Ellison posted something today that you might want to take a look at. If it is something horrible, delete it, tell them about it, and then go to their email and read it. The other thing you want to watch is introductory posts. A lot of times kids will forget and put their last names in there. In that case, you want to come here. Obviously, Corley didn't do that, but I'm going to come here to project 5, find that message, and you can edit it. If it's just a last name, I would just delete it. Delete the last name and then just save the message as is. They'll never know the difference. And that way you just remove the last name and it's not a big deal. However, if they post a link, I think I have one here that did. Oh, nope, it's here. If they post a link, what you'll want to do in that case is come and edit it. And I would put in a tag that says link removed. So you click here, copy the link. And by link, I do mean like shared documents. These are the ones we're concerned about. If they post a link to like a website, it's fine. But if it's a shared document, Google Docs or SharePoint or something like that, if we click on that and then go look at the document details, we can see the author of that, including their last name. So we really try to encourage kids not to do that. Teachers should be aware of this. It's in that introductory message down here near the bottom. See? And so what I like to do in that case is put in this tag that says link removed. I go ahead and type something in there to show that I took it out. That's important because number one, I don't want the student to come back and think that something glitched with their message and they just need to repost the link again. Or if their teacher made an assignment to post an update about this information and that was how they went to do it, I want the teacher to be clued in that they did do that, but then we corrected what they did. So now Another thing I might do if I was, making this change after I put in that link removed where the link was, is I might post a message up here just reminding the whole team to avoid posting Google Drive links and recommending that instead they print the document to a PDF, make sure there's no last names on it, and upload it into the file section up here because that's what that's for. And on that note, you may uh, see some messages in here where there's a document that has a last name written on it. If you see that, you want to notify the teacher right away. You can also notify me at PS Team, only because I could go in and I can blur out the name and put it back up there. No big deal. But we need to be aware of it as quickly as possible so we can get that last name off of there. So that's really what you're looking for here. You're looking for tone. You're looking for, like, are they being rude? Is it rude enough that we need to delete the post? Do we, you're looking for links that need to be removed. You're looking for last names so that you can delete those. That's basically it. And, once you get down to a point where you've seen messages before, you've scanned everything that needs to be scanned, and you can be done. Now, some liaisons like to use this box to post messages to all the groups at the same time. I wouldn't make that a daily practice, but maybe a weekly or every other week. Not a bad idea. It just lets the students see you, gives you a chance in your introduction to explain who you are and that you'll be stepping in from time to time. Especially so that in the event that their mentor does have to step away for some reason, when you come on and you're just new face and a new name, that they already know, they already have an idea of who you are. So you can just type a message in here, click share, and make sure this is set to all projects, and it will post a message to everybody at the same time. So that's easy and convenient. And then the last thing I would do, and really depending on how many projects your group happens to have, is to actually go and just skim what's going on in the project. So since this group only has like 5, I might just say, like, every Wednesday, I'm going to take a half an hour and I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to browse through the updates feed for every group and just see how things are going. What that lets you do is it lets you see if there's like a whole bunch of these in a row. It can get kind of annoying and long, so you can delete a couple of those. I mean, definitely leave 1 or 2 in there, but when it's real repetitive, it's a good idea just to just clean it up a little bit so it's a little smoother reading for everybody. If it's the same person that's kind of making a bunch of changes, it's usually a good idea just to bring it down to 1 to let everyone know that stuff got updated, and then we can leave it at that. Scan again, make sure there's no links or anything. And then, of course, check out their info fields, make sure their info fields are appropriate and that they are filling them out. Again, if there's something that you notice here that might need to be addressed, take it to the teacher. Don't address the students directly. Notice, too, that this trails off. So if you want to see the whole post, you'll have to come here to info, and then you can see everything that was written. Okay. Then you can come back up to projects, go to project 2, do the same thing. What this does is it not only helps you see everything in context, which might help explain some of what's going on if you see something that might have a funky tone, but the other thing is it helps you kind of keep tabs on which groups are really doing well. Because remember that at the end of the session, we need to be able to identify the best projects in the team to nominate for star project status up here. So as long as you're kind of checking in about once a week, that should give you a pretty good idea of which ones are rising to the top and which ones are just normal. So that's really it. That is the whole process. The other thing, of course, is to make sure that you are communicating with the teacher and fulfilling the liaison role for which the role is named. That is really like a once a week thing too. You could just reach out to your teacher once a week and just say, here's what's going on here. How are things with you? Let them update you. Some of my teachers are really good about making use of the forum, but some are less. So it helps them to be able to just email you back and say, yeah, here's what we're doing. Thanks for checking in. And then you can come here to the updates feed in the mentor forum and post that information here. One other thing I have found useful when I'm in the liaison role with a group is to post something like this where it says need to get away. What this does is it gives the mentors a place to tell you that they have to step away for some foreseen circumstances. So, like, they already had a vacation planned. They were planning to check in while they were on the road, but hey, by the way, I may be checking in. I may not be able to, so would you mind just checking my group and seeing if they post? That's really helpful to you because then you can know, okay, I need to make a note to myself that on Friday I've got to really check team 3 carefully and make sure that I'm responding. Um, the other thing is if they have something come up quickly, this will also shoot you an email. So, like, say we just had a death in the family, I've got to go. Can you please take over my group for me for now? You'll get an email about that, so you'll know right away. So, this is a nice way to do it. Now, in the event that a mentor flakes completely, which does happen, after if you've tried to send them a note reminder, you've tried to reach out to them by email, they're just not logging on. You can, of course, come here and you can still invite new members and add them to that group. When you make that call, you're going to want to think about, like, how much longer are the kids working, because you don't want to bring a mentor in to just like show up and be done. It may be easier and maybe smarter, since you're already a part of the group, for you just to pick up where that mentor left off and mentor them through the end. That's something that you and the teacher and I can talk about. You can also reach out to me if you want some guidance on that. Um, and just a reminder too, I know we talked about this during the professional learning for those that participated in that in the summer. Coming up here to resources and then on liaison session, or the master plan science team decision tree, will take you to this document, which can help you decide what to do in different situations. These are the ones that involve students. These are the ones that involve teachers. And then these are the ones that involve mentors. But just bear in mind, at no point are you expected to scold people. You don't have to scold mentors. A gentle reminder is all you're responsible for sending. So you don't have to get after anybody. You do not need to, you really should not be scolding any students or anything like that. Your job is really just to make the important people aware of what's going on. So if a mentor really is flaking, that's fine. You can let me know and I can try to deal with that. Or we can work with the teacher together to figure out what the plan is for that. But this is a nice, handy resource to refer to. And that's all. So if there's any questions you have, of course, just email me. That's what I'm for. Hopefully, this gave you enough of a guide to kind of know how to move forward. But, if there's anything else you're still confused about, definitely let me know. Thank you so much for being a liaison. By the way, I can't tell you how helpful it is. The only thing I have not really mentioned here that is important, but hopefully you already know, is that you should be completing a liaison report every week that is emailed out to you on Fridays. And then we need it back by 3 p.m. Central Time on Monday. So you have the weekend to fill it out. Should be relatively short. If you're not getting those, please also let me know that so that we can make sure we have the correct information for you. And that's it. Have a good rest of your day. And again, thank you so much for doing what you do.